In this video, learn the daily breakout trade strategy. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of SME Capital, and we're a proprietary trading firm located in Midtown Manhattan. And I'm also the author of the trading classic, One Good Trade and the Playbook. In this video, see a new trader with feedback from me break down the variables for a profitable daily breakout trade in the airlines. Let's get to work on sharing these important trading lessons so you can grow your trading account.
We took a daily breakout trade on AAL last Friday. So the trade strategy is pretty simple. We look for an important technical level on our daily charts, a news catalyst, elevated R-vol, some volume spike into the breakout, a sharp move away from price, holding above VWAP, decreasing volume into pullbacks, buying on the tape into the pull-ins, short interest on my side, option flow with out of the money strikes, a hold until there's a reason to sell, and you'd want the market in your favor and corresponding stocks and sectors supporting direction, and obviously a hot sector.
So that's a very good breakdown of the variables for a trade. That's a very professional breakdown. I actually got an email sent to me by somebody who said they were a consistently profitable trader, wanted to understand how they could become even better. And when I shot a few emails back and forth to this trader, it turned out that this trader didn't really understand when they were more likely to be right. This trader didn't really understand the variables that go into their A+ trades. This trader didn't really understand the variables that go into their winning trades. You need to know that. Don't write me an email. Don't ask to talk to me at the office about how you're going to be more consistent and how you want to be a 7-figure trader and how you want to be a big trader and not be able to answer those questions. I can't take you seriously. You're a piker if you don't know that. The idea that you think you're going to become an elite trader and not be doing the work that Yanni's doing right here. And Yanni, you're an intern, correct?
Yeah, I'm an intern.
Okay, this is an intern, and you're a junior intern, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is your first go round at the firm. He's in the first stage of his internship. These are the variables that he's putting into his trades. To get hired at the firm, you've got to stand out as a junior intern. Then you've got to stand out. Then you got to get an invitation to be a senior intern when you're in college. You got to stand out there and then get hired. Okay, he's just starting. You need to understand when you're more likely going to be right. Okay, you need to be, in this, I don't mean to call out this trader, and I say it this way because people tell me that they want to be good. And my response to them is, all right, if you want to be good, I've got to tell you the real truth. I've got to be honest with you. The work you're doing right now, not good enough. If you can't tell me that stuff, not good enough, not going to happen for you. Go do something else because we're playing for keeps here. And I was struck, Yanni, by actually the work you did here because this is really good. This is a really good layout of a very specific example of a trade that you're going to take. And you can tag a trade like this, and you can measure a trade like this, and you can get stats on a trade like this, and you can know for your trading whether or not you can build on this very specific trade. Okay, so for those of you out there that aren't doing as well as you want or want to do better, here is a junior intern showing you the way.
Next, we got the potential reasons to sell. So if the price target is reached on a breakout trade like this, you want to sell into strength. But if the stock goes against me, I look for an intraday uptrend to be broken, breaking news in the stock or in the market, an unusual seller on the tape, or a daily 10-day SMA failure, or on the 1-hour chart, I look for the 50 SMA / EMA to be broken.
If you want to learn 3 more real-world setups that our traders use, including the simple setup that we teach all of our new traders, and the setup that turned one of our traders into a 7-figure big money earner, check out the free webinar that we're currently running. Just go ahead and click the link that should be appearing now at the top right-hand corner of your screen. That will open up the free registration page in a new window, so don't worry, you won't lose this video. You can also visit tradingworkshop.com to register for this free intensive workshop. You're going to learn more in a couple of hours from this trading workshop than from years of online education.
So the trade plan is very simple. We look for a buy flush into pre-market support, pre-market support, risking low a day, adding above the opening price or the breakout price, and we look to scale out into strength.
As you guys get a little bit more experience, how you're defining opening price is going to be important. I'm sorry, how you define adding above opening price, you will add some more nuance to. So you're not going to add every time something gets above the opening price. You're going to be more selective about when you're going to add above the opening price. For example, let's say that something moved 2 ATRs on low volume to then above the opening price. You're not going to buy the opening price then. If something's moved 2 ATRs in a really short period of time on low volume and ticks above the opening price, you're not going to buy it. All right, and that's a different setup than stock gapped up. It was consolidating for an hour, really close to beneath the opening price, and then gets above the opening price. That's an A+ buy. Just note that as you get a little bit more experience, we're going to want to be more nuanced, and you're going to want to be more specific for your trading, Yanni, for which of the ticks above opening price you really do want to take or add.
We'll take a look at the bigger picture here. We are in a trending market for the SPYs. SPY was actually making a new all-time high the day before. The Qs were lagging and the IWM is the strongest. The White House COVID-19 response director says that 65% of people aged 65 and over have gotten vaccine shots. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says more than 100 million vaccine doses administered in the United States. And we also had some PPI data come out, which is pretty much in line with expectations.
What's it telling you overall? You need to finish the sentence. So the big picture is all these things. What's your conclusion based on the big picture? Really bullish, really weak, up too much? Going to make my breakout trades more likely to work, less likely to work? What's your conclusion?
Yeah, since the market overall looks pretty strong, breakouts tend to work, and we're in a trending market. So I think that's important to note that the SPYs have been typically strong. Technology looks a little weak, but other than that, the broader market looks pretty bullish.
Yeah, get in the habit of adding that conclusion. Trade more likely to work because of the big picture.
So this is the airliners. The ETF Jets is what I like to track. And we have some real sector strength. This is the weekly chart for Jets. And we have a strong uptrend, and we're breaking out of this 200-day moving average on the weekly and testing the pre-COVID levels for the airliners. So this is an important breakout spot for the whole sector as a whole. So here's our technical analysis for American Airlines.
I'm not going to pay anywhere near as much attention in Jets as I would perhaps typing up 3 or 4 of the largest airlines and seeing how they're doing to give me some information. Jets is not an ETF as important as maybe the semiconductors ETF is.
Okay, so that's something I need to look at. When I was actually taking this trade, I was actually tracking Boeing.
Yeah, I like that you're looking for an ETF to help you. This just isn't one of those ETFs that's particularly helpful yet. As opposed to, and look, this is a little insider baseball, and there's no reason why you should know this, and certain ETFs are better than others. This is just not one of those that you need to rely on as much as some of the others. You want to look at UAL, you want to look at DAL. Hey, how are they doing? And see if they're giving you some information as to how AAL would do.
Okay, because when I was looking at the airliners to trade, AAL stuck out to me the most because of just the daily pattern that it had. But it did look like a lot of airliners was breaking out. So here's the technical analysis for AAL. So in the blue line right here, we have the 2250 area, which is the daily breakout that we want to buy into strength. I mean, that's the level that we want to buy at. Um, as we go, I'll go into the next slide where it has the 1 hour chart where it's a little clearer, but I just want to point out that we have a ways away to go to reach these pre-COVID levels. So we highlighted in white the areas of resistance where we might want to uh, sell into strength for this particular stock. So here is our 1 hour chart. We have the 2250 breakout area, which was tested multiple times and seems to be a very significant level. And then here's our daily resistance points where we have clear areas of rejection once we get to them. Eventually we break those and we could see that on the tape. Here's our 5 minute chart. We have the 2250 break and it tests the VWAP right here on the opening drive. We get a breakout above the 2280 area and we trend and hold VWAP the entire day. Next day, gap holds up around the 2425 area and then holds on the opening drive as well at the pre-market support area right here. And we had some explosive volume on the second day as well. So here is the intraday fundamentals. American Airlines is one of the world's largest airline when measured by fleet size, revenue, and scheduled passenger carries. And here is the statistics for stock. We have an RVOL. I mean, ideally we look for an RVOL above 2, but the RVOL was decent and we did have a lot of checks in our favor. So this is something that I would like to take. We have a 1.778 ATR, short float of 12%, and shares float 632 million. Institutional ownership 51.7%. Insider ownership 3.41% of the float. But the major catalyst for this American Airlines trade is that Joe Biden yesterday signed the $1.9 trillion worth of COVID-19 relief, which included $14 billion for the airlines and additional $9 billion for the airports and other operations.
Let's drill down. So good. Very good detail here with your statistics. Love if you do this on all of your A+ trades. Very underrated to be going over these stats before each trade because you will notice that certain trades will work better when certain stats are XYZ 1, 2, 3 for your trading. So you want to, so for instance, short float can make a huge difference. Short float can make a huge difference as to how a breakout trade works. You get something overly shorted, that could really run because it's overly short. And if you were just looking at the technicals, you're just looking at the price action, or you're just looking at the technical resistance areas on your longer term charts, and then it got above there, and the thing skyrocketed higher, and you didn't know that there was a high short interest, you'd have a different experience trading that than whether you did have it. Or if you knew that this was, in this market, one of the stocks that people are really talking about on the Reddit boards and the Wall Street bets boards. And so I was going to make fun of myself about not really knowing what the Reddit boards were, but you guys can do that behind my back. But the thing I want you to hone in on here, Yanni, is there something in the intraday fundamentals that's unusual? Is there something that was unexpected? Was there more money than expected that was doled out in the relief bill? Was there more money for airlines that was doled out in the relief bill? Was this news kind of known about prior? And is this just sort of the execution of what was already known? Those are things you want to be diving deeper into to get a handle as to how good the catalyst can possibly be. So if this catalyst, if we knew this was coming, and then this was the day that it came, and all the numbers were the same, we wouldn't really expect the stock to play up that much because it was already priced into the stock. But if, for example, we didn't really know that there was going to be $14 billion given to airlines and $9 billion for airports, and we really thought it was maybe going to be like 7 and 4, and there was double the money, well, that's a catalyst then. That's a go catalyst. So think about that as you're moving forward. What in the intraday fundamentals is unexpected and new to the marketplace that is going to get big money to step in and start buying?
So here's our variable checklist. So we had that important technical level on our daily charts, which was 2250. That got rejected multiple times. We would want more elevated R-vol. R-vol was about 1.5. So I like to have above 2 for something like this, for it to be in play, but we have a lot of checks in our favor. So we did get a volume spike into the breakouts and a sharp move away from price off the open and holding above VWAP, which is really, really important. We had decreasing volume into the pullback, buying on the tape into pull-ins. The market was in our favor. Corresponding stocks and sector was in our favor. News catalyst, hot sector, short interest on our side. It was around 12%, which I think is decently high for an airliner. But something that I made a mistake on and we'll cover on in our trade execution, in my trade execution, is holding until there's a reason to sell. I sold a little too early on this breakout trade. And we also see some option flow with out of the money strikes. So these are the out of the money strikes I was talking about. I like to use something called flow algo. It's a great thing I like to use to see where big people are putting their money and hitting aggressive options. So we see a bunch of out of the money options being bought on this day and consistently throughout the day, which is also important. So that's another check in our favor when it comes to this breakout trade. So here's my trade management. I took the breakout at 2250. I sold a pretty decent portion of my core, only 10 cents higher. I have to get a little bit better at reading the tape, but I was not liking the way it was reacting at this price at the time. But we'll go over that and what I could have done better. But my other executions were pretty decent. Sold shares into 2282, which was one of our resistance points, and 2325, which the tape stalled in this area and we slowly chopped back up. So I'm happy with this execution. But with my runners, I sold this into weakness, which I didn't really like. It started to look very extended on the daily charts, and also other airliners and related stocks as a whole. So I sold that last portion into 2310, and that was a really big mistake on my part. I should have been using my reasons to sell for that last bit. So here's the ideal trade management. Like we said, we get long the 2250, add as it holds VWAP at 2260, which is in this area. Sell into pops where the resistance are. We could swing a portion into the next day.
These are different trades, right? And this is something that you want to be working on in your review. So getting long at that 2250 area on the open is what we call an opening drive play. And then buying that stock as it's holding VWAP after it showed strength and after it's above, its opening range, its pre-market range. That's a different trade, right? That's a different trade. And if time goes by, it's shown you strength on the open, it's above the opening range, and you're getting consolidation above VWAP, that's a good swing trade on the long side, assuming you're not really close to overhead resistance on the longer term charts. That's a very good trade. So for instance, if you look at the sideways action from about 10:15 all the way until, I can't read what time that is till, buying that support above VWAP a little bit after 10:15 and trying to hold that into the end of the day, that's a good swing trade and a very different trade The opening drive trade is a momentum trade, meaning you buy it and you sell it when it slows. It's a subset of a scalp. A buying into VWAP as it's buying into VWAP as it's holding above VWAP in a stock that's strong, that has a good news catalyst and has a good technical catalyst is a swing trade. It's an intraday swing trade at a minimum, and has different rules to it. So, and I would tag them differently. The first one would be opening drive trade. Second one would be a pull-in trade. Pull-in trade with a news catalyst. Pull-in trade with a news catalyst and technical catalyst. Whatever tag you think is best for you.
So this is my trade review. What did I learn from this trade? I learned that daily breakouts typically could trend for multiple days or end near high of day, like we saw. I need to look for reasons to sell, as this was a trade to hold. Overall sector strength can give you major clues to how the stock may trend. How could it have done better? Ad size when the tape was clearly holding VWAP at 2260, holding until there's a reason to sell. And I ideally look for elevated RVol setups. This was a little low volume, but overall there was a lot of checks in our favor, so I'm not too unhappy, but I would like to see more relative volume in the name.
Yeah, that's particularly important when you're looking at breakout trades, technical breakout trades. Good to note that. I like you thinking about that. I like you noting that. I suspect you will find much more success trading breakout trades with elevated volume as opposed to less elevated volume.
So how would you trade this differently in the next trade? This day I was a little off psychologically, so I didn't add too much risk on this trade. So if mentally I'm feeling a little better, maybe this is something I could size up and potentially in. Have less of a scalp mentality and more of a longer term time frame. Now this trade trended for 2-3 days. I have to think about that and separate the two trades, like you said, where there's one opening drive play, and then the second play is a pull into VWAP, an intraday or a multi-day swing. And with that, I'd like to hold more of a core.
100%. Totally two different trades, two different ways to attack that, two different playbooks. You'll have two different results with your trading to study. But good, really good. I like your approach here. Really good setup. Great with the variables. Good stock selection. Excellent playbook selection. Excellent setup selection. These are the trades to really study and think about as you build out your playbook.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hey, go ahead and click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos that we're producing for you in the trading community. And please take the time to add your feedback in the comments section for what videos you'd like for us to produce next and what you found helpful from this video. From all of us at S&B, train and trade well.